I don't know if I'm live yet. Yes, I am. Welcome, Marnie Batista here from Screw This Should Live. I am here today to teach you about what I call competence, being your cage. Something I know so well. I mean, look, if you're a person who is the most competent person you know, this is for you. Confidence is beautiful. It's built our lives. Um, there's been times in my life for sure, um, going way back, that being confident helped me survive, helped me lead. It helped me be the better parent, in my humble opinion. Ultimately becoming a provider from being a broke ass nursery school teacher to being the one who, put my kids through college and all of those things, solve problems, make money, have a business, grow a business. Also, honestly, hold our family together. Like not just my immediate family unit, but like the bigger family. Care for everyone that I love. Become the person that people count on. And for you, I mean, if that sounds like you and you're here live, raise your hand, give me a comment, a freaking amen, sister. But what I've learned in my own life, and now for doing this with so many women over the last 17 years, at some point your confidence becomes it's a cage you're living in. Confidence becomes a cage when you're the only one who can figure it out, or whether you're the one who always just figures it out. I mean, I feel you on this. Also, it becomes a cage when you get the praise and the kudos for being the one who does so much. How do you do it all? Pat on the back, right? What happens is that it becomes a cage when we start to confuse like the things that we're doing as the way that we feel safe. Like we only feel safe when we're the one who's doing everything, the only one who's in charge. And we confuse that being needed with what actual safety feels like. And we're maintaining this life that doesn't feel like ours. It doesn't feel alive. It just feels like we're getting by on it's fine. Um, and for a lot of you who are listening, you might even think like, I don't know what I want because I've just been trained to override what I want. There's no room for what I want. So what I want you to hear, if this resonates for you, the same part of you that helped you be successful is actually the part of you now that's keeping you stuck. That's the headline. So I want to teach you about what I call scurry energy. Scurry energy is the energy of constantly moving, fixing, managing, responding, juggling balls, producing, planning, very low grade panic, anxious, worry. And what we call it is being responsible. And when I even describe it to you, I can go back to those days when I was in scurry energy. I have a vivid memory of like being in my kitchen, single mom, 3 kids, like running my business, making the lunches, screaming at the kids, like just trying to get out the door by like 8:04. Like it was a lot, but I felt it in my body. And so the signs of scurry energy are you feel like you're behind the minute you wake up. You can't really fully rest because you always feel like there's something to do. So like your nervous system is constantly vibrating. When you're not doing something, you feel super guilty, right? Like if I'm not productive, then something's wrong. I should be doing that. You're amazing in crisis, but so uncomfortable in spaciousness, silence, quiet. I did a yoga on Sunday. I thought it was like Yin Yin, but it turned out to be all yin, which is basically just not moving very much and being with yourself for 60 minutes. And at the beginning, I was like, I could be doing 14 million other things. And I was just like, wait, no. Sometimes you get what you need, not what you want. And in the end, I felt completely different because I needed that time, right? To be in that spaciousness. It is uncomfortable. Um, when we keep asking, what should I do instead of what do I actually want? I mean, hello. Um, Huge. What do I want? I have a client who has some chaos going on in her work and someone's leaving and they wanted to have a meeting with her about like, does she want to take on this role? And she was like, do I want it? And I said, no, 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 no. Or not, what should I do? She asked me. I said, what do you want? If you could design your work any way you want, like how would you do it? What's your dream? Right. So when we keep asking, what should I do? What's the right thing to do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Competence, scurry energy looks like researching, planning, problem solving, never really feeling what's true for us, always trying to consensus build and get the right answer. And you feel a heaviness even when technically isn't really like wrong. Scurry energy is super sneaky because it's wearing a mask of like uber responsibility. But in your body, scurry energy feels like contraction. And I want to tell you, like right up front, like I'm not saying like, because you're saying I have to do all this stuff. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying the energy in our body, the choices that we make, how we're showing up in those tasks, in those responsibilities, is stealing your joy and actually making it harder than it even is, right? That scurry energy is depleting. So most people think the problem is I don't know what I want, or I don't know how to organize my time better, or I need a plan, or I need to get motivated, or I need this condition or circumstance to change. I'm here to tell you clarity is not the first problem. I had a client the other day that said, clarity is my drug of choice. What should I do? What should I do? The first problem actually is your nervous system does not yet feel safe telling the truth. Your nervous system doesn't feel safe in spaciousness. It doesn't feel safe asking what you want. It doesn't feel safe in letting go of that energy because it believes that that energy is what keeps your life together, the Jenga of your life, if you know that game. When we are operating like this, our nervous system is afraid that if we tell the truth, we're going to disappoint people. If we choose ourselves, I talked to a client today about healthy selfishness, right? That it might make you look selfish. I grew up being told I was selfish, so this is hard, right? Your nervous system's like, if we change it, we're going to disrupt what everyone thinks around us on the outside. What will other people think? Or it feels greedy to want more, or resting, or taking a break, or not taking care of all those details that I can do better. It feels so irresponsible. What happens is when your nervous system doesn't feel safe, your nervous system is going to protect you by keeping you busy, confused, distracted, and stuck, right? Confusion, overwhelm, overfunctioning is protection in disguise. So can you see how hard it would be to solve the problem if you're not really working on the real problem, right? So I would say if you create the space to listen, to have a calm nervous system, you're less confused than you think. The problem is you've been wired to override it. So do a quick check-in, like just notice. Maybe put your hand on your heart or your belly, or just take a deep breath. And check in and say, where in my life, what areas of my life am I saying it's fine? And my body's saying, no, it's not fine. Where am I being praised for something that's actually causing me to lose my vitality and my sense of aliveness? Where am I being praised because life is living me, but I'm not living my life. What are you maintaining? Like where are the balls being juggled just because you're the one who's good at it? You're not doing it because it's aligned. Maybe you don't even know if it's aligned anymore. And I think the last really powerful question for you is, what would you admit if nobody needed you to be quite so competent? Probably tired, right? So if you're listening to this as a recording, just like take 90 seconds, jot it down, put it in your phone. This is the doorway. There's no 10-step plan or hack or a perfect decision. I mean, I'm just so over like the hacks. The doorway is telling the truth without immediately needing to fix it, being with it long enough to hear, to listen, to co-create with your soul, with the truth that's inside of you. So, last thing, there's 3 cages of competence. There's the approval cage, right? That's when being seen as capable becomes part of your identity. There's the responsibility cage. That's when you believe everything's going to fall apart unless you hold it together, right? You're not just doing your part, you're doing your part, their part, the emotional labor, the invisible labor, the backup plan, right? And then there's the clarity cage, right? That's when you think you need to know exactly what comes next before you're allowed to change anything. So you're waiting for certainty. Certainty will not come before movement. It comes after you begin telling the truth. So if any of these cages resonate, they're not personality flaws. I want you to know that. They're wired in protective strategies. And tomorrow and Thursday, I'm going to start to dismantle them for anyone who comes to my live workshop. So it's called Competence is a Cage. It's tomorrow, the 14th. It's for you if your life looks great on paper, but something in your body's feeling really heavy right now. It's for you if people think you're amazing, you're doing great, but you feel secretly tired, resentful, restless, like disconnected, like you've lost your vitality. And it's for you if you keep trying to solve your life with hacks, shortcuts, discipline, productivity, Mondays, gratitude, affirmations, a journaling prompt. But deep down, you know that you've just outgrown this version of your life and something is so misaligned and you feel like you don't know how to get to where you want to go and time is short on this planet, right? Tomorrow's workshop, we're going to go deeper into why high functioning women get trapped by their competence. We're going to talk about how over responsibility becomes an identity and actually start to locate the root cause of that. How do you know what you need? What is your real desire versus a should? And how to begin really listening and to hear, create the spaciousness to hear what might be your truth. And we're going to take the first step to getting out of scurry energy. Woohoo! Oh, imagine the quiet in your mind. So if this is hitting you in some way, come to the workshop tomorrow. Don't just like, oh, that was nice, and go back to your inbox and start performing your life. Give yourself the 90 minutes. Let it just be as put yourself in that yoga that I was in on Sunday where you're just like, you know what? Let me just go and see what shows up for me and just stop performing and just be. Give myself 90 minutes to just be and see what happens and unfolds. I got so much clarity in that hour. It was really, really powerful. And I do this all the time, right? But still, again, it's our wiring. We have to create space for our nervous system to calm down enough. So, your confidence isn't the problem. It's sacred. It got you here. Don't be mad at it. I know you resent it probably. But it wasn't meant to be your whole house, your whole way of being. It was meant to be a tool, not a life sentence. not your destiny. And you don't have to burn anything down. You don't have to become reckless. You don't have to abandon the people you love. I really want you to hear that. But you need to stop confusing being capable with being free. So tomorrow we're going to talk about how to get out of the cage of competence. We're going to be calm. We're going to be honest. There's no wreckage. And I'd love to have you there. So I believe that we're going to put a link to join us in the comments. I want you to really hear that you're not behind. You're just over functioning. And I want to help you start creating freedom by giving you the keys to your cage. I think that's all we got. If you have any questions, you can always DM me on Substack. Come get out of scurry energy just for 90 minutes. Let's see what we can create together. Love you all. Bye for now.